We're going to go ahead and just click on transactions right here. As you can see, we have a lot of properties already created in here, but we're going to create a new one so you can see it from the beginning stages and how it works. So go ahead and click Add. When you click Add, this new transaction screen will pop up. Now, if you have the MLS integration feature and you've paid for that, you will be able to enter your MLS number and it will automatically sync all of the transaction details into this new transaction. However, assuming that you do not, we'll go ahead and we're just going to have to do this from the beginning stages to the end. So for this transaction name, I'm just going to give it a random name here. You can name these transactions however you like. A lot of people will give the name as the address, the beginning part of the address of the listing or transaction. Other people like to name it, just a way that they can remember it. It's it's up to you. I would recommend doing it the same throughout your company to maintain organization. We'll go ahead on this one and just do a random number here. And then once you've done that transaction name, go ahead and click Add. So this brings us to the transaction screen. As you can see, there's a lot here, so we're going to walk through it step by step in the way that you should generally approach these transactions so that you can always do this and not run into any problems. So the very first thing we're going to want to do is add the information of this transaction. So if you go ahead and click in this upper left box where the transaction name is located, you'll see it pops this field up. So we're going to go ahead and put the address, which is in this case the same as the transaction name. We'll do it in Detroit, Michigan. I don't know the zip code, so we're going to do 33333. Okay. Next, you're going to want to put the list price. So here we'll just go ahead and put a $500,000 list price. And then you can go ahead and put the MLS number if you'd like, so you can keep that organized, or the deal number as well. But for now, don't put anything in the deal number. Later on in this video, I'll explain how the offers work and how a transaction can have multiple deal numbers attached to that. So the next part on here is you'll see that we have the property details and custom fields. You'll see there's a bunch of different sections within here. We have the general, interior, exterior. And right now, we don't have anything in here. So if I click show all, nothing comes up. But a nice little feature that, Realty APX allows is when you click, for example, general, right? So let's say I want to go ahead and put in a detail for the general transaction. So for the description, I'll just do great property and great location, just for example if you wanted to remember it. Let's go ahead and say it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. I'm not going to put any more details in there, but now that I've done that, if I uncheck show all, you'll see that everything we've put will automatically pop up. So it makes it nice because it just will show you the things that you've put in and kind of give you a summary of the property. Same with custom fields. If you do show all, you can do that as well. And those are more of a customization option. So a lot of times you'll only be using this property details. So to do that, once again, you click show all, you'll fill out everything you need to, and then when you uncheck that, it's going to bring up only the information that you've put in. Alright, so now that we've done this, let's click out. So the next part of the transaction screen that you're going to want to do is in this transaction info circle or box. And there's three things that are always necessary for a transaction to have. The first one is who the agent represents. Is it the buyer? Are you representing the seller? Or is it both? In this case, we're going to do a seller's agent as if we're representing the seller in this transaction. The next thing that you'll need is the checklist. As we've talked about in the previous trainings, the checklist is what you'll be setting up within the doc and task lists, and what doc and task lists are associated with a specific cell type. For this scenario, we'll go ahead and do commercial cell. And as you can see, once I've selected this, the doc list and the task list that I've associated with this specific commercial cell come up. So within this, we have a listing agreement, contact form, commission agreement, etc. of different documents that the agent will need to upload in order to move on and continue. And the last thing that you'll need to do is assign this transaction to a specific agent. So when you do that, for example, if I start typing, we already have some agents in here, and when you start typing a name, it will bring up the list of all the agents that obviously correspond with the letters that you're typing, and we'll just select Jane Doman, and this would now be assigned to Jane, and she would be able to access that this transaction. And so those are the three main things that you need to do with every transaction info. The source, that's talking about where this transaction came from. This is more for organizational purposes. And the type is the property type. So you're also able to do this within the setup, as explained previously. You can set up whatever type of transaction this is, whether it's apartment, commercial, etc. You can kind of see our default list in here. So those are the things that you can do. We'll go ahead and just do cold calling and apartment just to have a full informational transaction. The next part that you'll be able to see is important dates. This is for example, if I have a let's see, an inspection that I'm trying to remember, right? So you can select the specific date that's going to happen. You can add that date. And this is important just for organization again, and this is very useful in tracking the different steps along a transaction and the dates that are coming up. So this is a great feature that allows you to do that, and you'll always be able to follow the different dates that you've put in there. Alright, so let's go into the documents and the doc list. To briefly explain how this works, you'll see there's this little blue exclamation mark. When that's blue, that's saying that it is not required for the agent to upload a document before they submit it for approval to the broker. So, as the broker account right now, if I wanted this document to be required on this specific transaction, I can click that, and now that's required, and the agent will be required to upload a document before they can submit this to the broker right there. So that's very good if you have like specific transactions that sometimes, like in the doc list, you decided it's not required, but there are specific scenarios every once in a while that it is required. Then you can go in and do that for a transaction. As you can see, we have this listing here. Just to show you briefly, once again, to upload a document, you can click Upload, and then you can go ahead and you can upload the different documents that you may have. And that makes it really nice. So if I go in here, appraisal, contingency, and addendum, I know that's not the correct one for this, but you can see now that we have that in here. And the other way is you can go to your files and you can drag that specific document into the field and it will upload. The other thing to note, this bar, you can see when I make anything required, so now there's only 1 out of 3 documents that have been uploaded which are required. So this is for tracking purposes of, oh, I have this many documents I've uploaded that are good to go, and I can submit this to the broker. So let's move on to touches. So touches are, once again, you can customize these for any touches that you have associated with the transaction. So you have a note, phone call, a meeting, you can add a note, the status of that. So if it's rescheduled, unavailable, left message, canceled, those options. You can also select the date and the time that that's associated with. So if you want to know, a couple of buyers interested on that date, for example, click save. You now have this touch history, and it's nice, and you can obviously see all of these as they come and keep those organized. The next field is this offers tab. So the reason why this offers section is important is because a lot of times with a transaction you may get really far in the process of expecting a certain offer to go through, and you've done documents and everything associated with that. However, it falls through at the end. So then you'll obviously have to add a new offer, and instead of having to go and make a whole new transaction because you've already uploaded documents, this allows for you to make an offer that is will allow you to just select it. So I'll show you real quick. Once you've entered this information in and click save, if I go back to documents, you'll see on this deal part of the documents, which is also a corresponds with the buyer, listing is the seller side. You can see you'll be able to select a different deal number that it corresponds with. So if I had uploaded these things with a previous deal number, then I can go and click the new deal number, and it will give me a whole new set of documents that I can upload. And this makes it really easy to organize within the different deals that you may have that come along. The next section is commissions. I went ahead and switched the assign to Jonathan Formby for instructional purposes. This is to show you a commission plan that we already have in here. So at the sales price, let's say, is $500,000. So Jonathan Formby is the agent involved. We go in here and you're going to go ahead and select a specific team name. And this is in the setup once again. And let's go ahead and select the Jonathan Formby plan, which is the team, excuse me. And this is the Jonathan Formby team. He got 100% of the commission. The first thing you're going to want to do is either one, put the percentage of commission that they're going to get. 3% is general. We're going to use that as an example. And then the other option is if it's not a percentage-based commission, rather it's a flat fee, let's say, you would put this at 0, and then you would go ahead and enter the flat fee for, let's say, $10,000 here, if it wasn't percentage-based. And then that is how much commission is going to be distributed. So if we have $10,000, how we've set this up with our different fees, you can see we have a 40% fee, which is going to the brokerage. So that's being taken out, the $4,000. Then we have these flat fees of a regional fee and an E&O insurance fee. And you can see the total office fees is $4,300, which means $5,700 is left over for the different agents involved. In this case, it's only Jonathan Formby, so that all goes to him. The other things you're able to do is add in a referral fee if there is a fee associated with that, and you can go ahead and you can enter this specific amount. Let's say it was a $1,000 referral fee. That is what you can do, and it will take that out as well. So next, if there's ever a scenario where an agent just helps out and they're not associated in a specific team normally, you can add them and give them the specific percentage that they are being given on a specific commission structure for a transaction. So let's say in this one, she just gets 10% for helping out, and he's going to get 90 now because obviously that has to equal 100. and then we will be good to go, and then you can go ahead and have that commission structure customized how you want it. And this is the general overview of the commission tab. You'll see you can also select a specific commission plan customized for a transaction, but you'll be able to get used to this and understand this as you move along, but this video should help you understand what this screen is doing. The last tab is photos. So this is a great feature if you just want to add some photos that you have. Let's go to our photos. Let's say we have this house. So obviously you want people to look at your transaction and be attracted to wanting to buy it. This will allow you to really have a nice feature in creating digital flyers. So first off, if I wanted a photo, for example, to be set as default, if I set that as default, that's going to automatically be the picture that goes in this little circle so that you can, remember what transaction you're working on. The next thing is if I click on it right here in this top right, 3 little buttons, if I click digital flyer, this will take me to a new URL that I can give to people to see this digital flyer. And this makes it really nice because it creates a flyer for you. It has, the specific details of the property, and they can also submit an offer right there from that URL or schedule a show, an open house showing these different things. It just makes it really nice and an organized way that will allow you to publicize your property in a very efficient manner. And the last thing that you should note, once again, this is different options for the transaction worksheet. You can also delete the transaction here. And then as we've gone through this, you may have been wondering what this right part is for. So this contacts is where you can add different contacts throughout. So let's say we had an attorney, or buyer two. We would want two buyers. Sometimes that happens where it's not just one person, but it's a married couple, and both of them are going to be equally involved. You can go ahead and you can add a new contact if they don't exist in here. John Doe, and you can add him, and then he'll be put into your contacts, the CRM, and you can kind of manage that through that area right there by clicking contacts. And then you can add different people, right? So if you add contact, now he's a buyer. Let's say I want to add, the referral, which will be required since we put a referral on here. We're going to do seller referral and add who that is. John Doe II. We can add him. And these contacts are important for, one, your ability to have an easy access to who's involved in this transaction. But also when we move this to the accounting, this is going to be necessary in transitioning or transferring different contact information to who you'll be making checks out to. For example, this seller referral, John Doe II. And then you can also share the property with different people if you'd like. And that is your choice, obviously. But if you want someone who's not normally involved in a transaction to have access to see this, for example, maybe a transaction coordinator or something like that, you can select them, and then as you've created their user and the setup, you can select that and add that to them, and they will have access to this transaction. So you've been able to see kind of a transaction and how it looks, and how you work and deal with that, and you're on your way to being a full user of RealtyAPX and really making your life easier and the lives of your agents much easier in their day-to-day business.